Or do you want to facing this way or that? Okay.
A crossover.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Peter Knox, infotainment droid for the Fountain.eu. This is Neil Cooper, who writes for the Herald and various other outlets and publications. And we're here just to have a little talk about Inverleith House, which is a building in the Botanic Gardens here in Edinburgh, which until a few weeks ago, I think, was a contemporary arts venue and exhibition space, and has just been shut down without much notice or explanation. Neil, could you tell me a wee bit more about this?
Okay, Inverleith House has been a contemporary art gallery for 30 years. Prior to that, it was the first home of the Scottish National Gallery of Modern Art. Before that, moved up to Belford Road. And 2 years ago, I think, it applied for. It's run by the Gardens, and but it's funded separately to the Gardens. The Gardens receives £11.5 million from the Scottish Government directly to run the whole of the Gardens. Now that sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of gardening to do. The Inverleith House receives roughly £80,000 a year from Creative Scotland to run their contemporary exhibitions programme. That isn't a great deal. Over 22 years of funding from Creative Scotland and its predecessor, the Scottish Arts Council, it has had in total £1.5 million. That's over 22 years. That's not a lot compared to what a lot of public institutions get. That's peanuts. What happened 2 years ago was the Inverleith House applied for regular 3-year funding from Creative Scotland. They didn't get it, so it's been existing on roughly £80,000. The last £80,000 from Creative Scotland, what it got was to fund 4 things: 2 exhibitions, a publication, and a feasibility study to see how the gallery could survive until 2021. Now, that feasibility study has yet to be published, but what happened 2 weeks ago was that the gallery was closed down as a contemporary art gallery. Initially, the trustees of the Botanic Gardens were not going to make any statement at all. They genuinely thought that they could close up on Sunday, the 23rd of October, and that nobody would notice. But myself and 1 or 2 other people got wind of this, and we wrote about it. I wrote about it initially in the List. Phil Miller wrote about it in the Herald, and things snowballed from there. I've asked the board 23 questions about why they've chosen to do things in the way they do. They've yet to publish the minutes of the meeting where it was decided. They've yet to publish the feasibility study, and they gave no notice to anyone outside of the organisation. No one from the organisation is allowed to speak to the media, and this has understandably upset not just the artistic community, but people in Edinburgh who go there and use it as what it is. It's a public resource. Just to put it in context, Inverleith House, as a contemporary art gallery, is unique on a global level, being situated in a botanic garden rather than an institution like a gallery building. It has shown exhibitions by more Turner Prize winners than anywhere outside the Tate. It has pioneered some serious contemporary art over the last 30 years. A lot of American artists, a lot of international artists, and a lot of younger Scottish artists who have developed and gone on to greater glories. And to rob the public of that is, to be kind, disingenuous, and to treat it like a commercial business. Because that's what I think they want to do. They want to turn, the board would like to make money off the building and commercialise it either as a restaurant or a boutique hotel or all of these things and are possibilities. The board have to answer serious questions about what they're going to do with it, because they're not saving money. They've said they're not making redundancies, so the 2 staff at Inverleith House are being kept on. They'll still have to pay their salaries, and they will still have to pay the upkeep of the house. So there are a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, what do you think the impact of not having Inverleith House might be for the arts world?
I mean, I think it will create a huge gap, a genuinely huge gap. It's loved from all over the world. The amount of support that has come out across, artists who have developed their work, like Douglas Gordon. He described it, Douglas Gordon, Turner Prize winning artist, described it as the beginning of the new Endarkenment. So it will leave a huge hole. There's been articles in the biggest art publication in the world, published in America by the former Scottish arts critic Claire Henry. It's going to leave a huge hole.
Has the Scottish Government had anything to say about it?
The Scottish Government have been uncharacteristically quiet about it. The only real response that there's been was Fiona Hislop, the Culture Secretary. She tweeted after a few days that she shared people's concerns about the loss of the gallery, and that's great. And I hope discussions are ongoing. It is the Department of Environment, I think, who funds the gardens overall. But of course, the Culture Secretary, she will oversee from an arm's length position, what's going on with Creative Scotland, and she recognises, I think, what a resource it is to the city and to the nation and to the world. In terms of other politicians, the City of Edinburgh Council are also concerned about what's going on. Their hands are tied to some extent, to be fair to them, because they have no financial ownership of it, of the house or the gardens. But meetings are going to be had between the council, both Leslie Hines, the Labour councillor for the area, and Gavin Barry, the SNP councillor for the area, have expressed concerns. Unanimous motion was backed at the Culture Committee at the City of Edinburgh Council that something must be done, and meetings are to be had between the council and the trustees. Meetings are also going to be had between Creative Scotland, the Scottish Government and the trustees, and we'll see what happens from those. But I don't think it's been very quiet in the last week in terms of response, both from the Botanic Gardens trustees and from campaigners, because what happened on the last day, there was the Scottish Contemporary Arts Network organised a mass visit where many people, residents in Edinburgh involved in the arts community, came out, and they had their biggest attendance of the year in the house. There were 700 people there over the course of the day, roughly, and so there will be a continuing response, I think. I mean, I suspect the Board of Trustees, who thought they were going to get away with just closing the gates very quietly and hoping no one would notice, I suspect they don't know what's hit them, and I think there's a lot more to come.
Okay. Right, well, we'll just need to all shout loudly, and hopefully we can get this great resource back.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for taking the time, Neil. Much
Absolute
appreciated.
pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers.
Lovely.